Welcome to the Invasion Remake podcast. I'm your host, Jason Bishop, and just getting over a little bit of a cold. I am a mucus-making machine. We skipped a record week just so I didn't sound too horrible last week. And we're this week we're talking about a 1967. I don't have my notes in front of me where I should. 1967 French movie Oscar, which was based on, I do believe, a 1953 play of the same name, and the 1991 John Landis remake of the same name, starring Sylvester Stallone. Now, the original 1967 was directed by Edouard Molinaro, and like I said, it was based on a play by Claude Mognier. How'd I do?
Sounds French.
Claude Mognier.
Claude. It was adapted to screen by Jean Helene, Eduardo Molinaro, and Louis de Funès. Forgive me for fucking it up.
Defunes is how it looks.
Defunes. Who also stars in this movie as Bertrand Barnier. Barnier? It's going to be like this the whole way. Also starring Claude Rich, Mario David, and I thank you for people having some normal names. Jermaine Delbot, well, fuck you. Claude Jean-Soc, Agatha. Sure. Nansen, Dominic Page, Paul Prévost, and Roger something or other. Van Hool. I don't know. And Silvio Sorel. Yeah, there's a lot of French names, and I'm sure our listeners are going, you guys live in Canada. We're in the west. We're in the wrong side of Canada. We're in the western side.
Not even that Quebecois French and Parisian French. Different.
Yeah, different. So even
imagine a drunken Glaswegian and they're still speaking English.
So for the one French listener in France that we may or may not have,
we apologize in advance.
Yeah, apologies.
We're trying.
Yeah. Now, okay, the Oscar movies are the play was 1953-ish area, and certainly was more of a vaudeville theme, had a very vaudeville classic feel to it, this vaudevillian farce, as it were. And
a comedy of errors.
Yes.
Term.
Comedy of errors, absolutely. And man, trying to figure out how to explain this plot without a flowchart is kind of crazy, but we're going to give this an attempt. Okay, so we... oh, fuck. Okay, this one's good. It was exhausting just watching the French version and trying to keep... because there's so much dialogue, and trying to keep up with the English subtitles. It was kind of crazy, and it was really hard to even find an English version.
Yeah, I never had that problem with the subtitles.
No,
I didn't have any.
You couldn't find it.
Couldn't get it to work. Yeah, so I watched like the best of parts. So I'm very poorly versed for this section of the.
And I had to try a couple of times to get the subtitles.
Yeah, so it's very difficult to find in English. So for you guys who might want to find this movie, you might be stuck watching it in French. It was really hard to find in English.
But hey, if you're better at French than us.
Which is pretty much everybody.
I don't know what idiot suggested we do this movie.
That would be you walking out, last week or the week before.
It would be funny. No, it was a terrible idea. I didn't know. I broke my one cardinal rule. Don't make it harder on Jeff than it has to be.
Well, we talked about the Academy Awards last episode, and as he's walking out, hey, since I made an Oscar joke at the beginning of that podcast, let's do Oscar.
Terrible.
Yeah, that worked out well. Okay, so we have Christian Martin shows up, and he goes up to his boss asking for a raise. And boss wakes him up early in the morning. A lot of this is the same in the other movie as well. And Barnier comes out, and he's this rich industrialist. I think he makes doorknobs or something. They do make a reference to doorknobs.
He's a construction guy.
He's construction.
I think the doorknobs were part of a construction, but when you find out later how many doorknobs there are, I'm wondering what the hell he's constructing, because that's a lot of doorknobs.
I know. It's got to be like the tallest building.
But also, it's funny, is this guy, he's like the boss, and he's like, oh no, I'm not allowed to disturb him before 11 a.m.
Yeah, his butler.
Yeah, like that's his work. His workday starts at 11, guys.
Yeah. So Christian keeps tipping him. He's like, "Yeah, here's
some money.
Here's a few more francs. You can wake him up." And how does he have all this money? Because he's been stealing liberally 65 million francs. I think they said
64,723,000.
Yeah, I couldn't be. I just rounded up.
I'd love to know. I saw that figure, and it's only like 50 grand or 100 grand total in the other Oscar. So I wonder, are the amounts skewed? Like, is that a considerable amount of money in 1967 compared to 100 grand in 1930s America? Did anybody do that conversion?
I was trying to do the conversion for it. I couldn't find it. Like francs.
Yeah, what was the conversion rate in 1967? And
you've got to sort of. It's hard to work your way back, because now France and a bunch of other countries are on the euro. So you're not trying to find today francs. You're trying to find today euro against old francs, and like the buying power there. So it's sort of you've got to kind of work your way around. I couldn't really find it. It's a significant amount of money.
Maybe we should have done. Welcome to the Economist section of the Invasion of the Remake. Maybe what we should have done is tried to find the average living wage for 1930s America as compared to the average living wage of 1960s France, and then extrapolate the difference between that amount of money and how many years you could live, and that would tell you if you were wealthy or not.
Yeah, well, he was definitely wealthy. I mean, he had one hell of a big place, sunning rooms.
It was painfully 60s. Oh my god!
Oh, very.
I
60s.
Loved it though. I would live in that house.
That whole movie is just hello the 60s.
It is a portrait of the 60s, and I don't even think it matters what country you're in. It all kind of looked like that.
I don't know.
The opening is very French 1960s cinema.
Yeah,
it is very.
Oh, the tiny cars and
car
chase but that I think it had that old cinema squeeze that you would get on those wide cameras.
Yeah, it kind of felt that way.
And maybe it was just really tiny cars, but because they were. But
I felt like well, I guess it wouldn't be costuming. Just the clothes in this movie is I haven't watched a lot of French movies. Like Man Bites Dog, maybe is the only one off the top of my head I can think of. And Amelie more recently, but it was it's what I think American 60s, their idealized vision of what that era looks like is what France looked like. It was way over the top. It was every scene was a runway. It was crazy.
Yeah, totally.
Because I can only go off the visual aspect of this movie because it was all in fucking French.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a lot of talking. It's a lot of talking.
It's a machine gun of French.
Oh, it's just nonstop. It is so exhausting. A couple times I had to hit pause just to take a breath and give my eyes a moment to adjust.
You're going frame by frame just to read the subtitles.
It's still actually the subtitles were fairly easy to follow, despite it seemed like they were saying a lot more than the subtitles were showing me. I'm like, you guys are saying a lot for a little on my screen, but I got the gist.
It's like that joke in Wayne's World where they're just saying a whole bunch and it's yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm going to try to boil this down really quickly. Christian comes in, he asks for a raise, and does a lot of double talk to get the raise because he wants to marry a girl who thinks he is living a much higher standard than he actually is.
Yeah.
So Barnier says yes, and then he straightens his tie and says, "Okay, I'd like to ask for your permission to marry your daughter," because Christian is under the impression that he's marrying Barnier's daughter, which is actually not the case because the daughter also wanted him to think he had a big dowry and was coming from a rich family, and she lied. So he's asking Barnier for his permission to marry a daughter he doesn't have yet.
Yeah, I know. Are we skipping to that part? I don't know.
I'm just going to keep motoring along with the plot so we can just talk about these movies because it's so complicated. Okay. So he goes to confront the daughter. Daughter didn't even know dad knew about a relationship. But it's a completely different relationship, and this is with the completely absent Oscar in this movie.
Is Oscar in this one the chauffeur?
He is also the chauffeur.
He's also the chauffeur.
At least he plays in the French one. Like, he's completely wasted in the Landis
In the
version.
new one, he's not. Yeah,
No.
He's an idea. He's not.
He shows up right at the
makes
end
it
as
better,
a punchline.
FYI, if this were an Academy Award nominated film, Oscar would be the leading role.
It's true. The movie's
As
named
we've
after him.
dedicated, it's named after him.
Actually, if you watch the
Everybody
credits
talks about
roll of the
Fucking
French
Carol.
one, he's the first one to get credit at the end of the movie.
Oh yeah,
Oscar
true.
is the first one to get credit. We talked about a little bit of that last week. Anyway, so she pretends his actual daughter pretends she's knocked up.
The maid gives her the idea.
The maid gives the idea. Maid's gone off with the guy that Barnier wants to actually set up his daughter with.
A baron.
A baron. And the fake daughter shows up,
Yes.
explains what's going on. At this point, it's been revealed that Christian has been stealing money from Barnier and has converted it to jewels and wants to give it to the daughter. And oh my God, there's embezzlement going on here.
Yeah, like it was sort of when you come. Okay, and this is the part that kind of drove me nuts when they're talking about how he stole the money.
Yeah.
Now on the Oscar one, it's like the mob. It's just crooked accounting. You get that. In this one, there's like an accounting error with doorknobs they bought, and there's like an accounting error of 1 franc for each doorknob. So he stole 1 franc for each doorknob. So he stole 64,723,000. That was how many doorknobs that were
That's
on the
like
last project.
every doorknob in France. More.
That was on their last one project, he said. One
they
project.
actually gave see, they never said a period of time for the 90s one. He just skimmed it over time.
No, this
Yeah.
guy.
It was like, oh yeah, last year.
Yeah, it was just because the way the contracts were done, like they were actually cost like 2 francs less, but because there was something written in the contract, they were actually 2 francs less. So he stole that extra franc per doorknob. Mm-hmm. But that's a lot of doorknobs. I just still can't figure out what you'd use. What were they building?
I don't know. I think a tower of doorknobs.
A tower of doorknobs. I don't know.
Maybe they're for export.
Yeah, maybe it's import-export, and it's a huge business.
They were
in the
building a
60s.
city from scratch.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Doorknobs first.
And we're talking all the
those,
doorknobs in all the houses in the bedrooms.
They're those like chic, 60s French ornate
Cities?
door handles, right? So they're shipping it all over the world to be in like boutique home hardware places. But I feel like this is an invasion of the doorknob, so we shouldn't get too hung up on it.
Sorry, I had to bring up the doorknobs because that
We're
seems
all-
like a lot of doorknobs.
We're all obsessed about the math.
Yeah, you're right. This is the economics invasion of the remake.
We should cover Equilibrium, speaking of weird math. Just
Oh,
off the
yeah.
top of my head.
That movie's great. Okay, so now we have a fake daughter, a real daughter who thinks that dad's talking about the dude who just showed up to propose, but she thinks it's Oscar and it's not, and there's a lot of like miscommunication and a lot of missed ideas in this movie that put everybody in different tracks of thinking.
Well, it's because all the many subplots all parallel each other.
Yeah.
So depending on when you come in, depending on what your pre-information is, you could assume that it is about whatever it seemed to me like whatever You knew no matter where you were stationed in these movies, whatever was happening would relate to whatever it was you knew.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of a brilliant piece of writing. The more I think of
this
it.
thing is manic, but it is so brilliant how everything moves into the next thing, into the next thing, into the next thing. Like, I'd love to watch this on stage. And
I definitely felt
it does work well. Like,
and Louis de Funes had played it several times on stage.
Yeah.
So he looks very
6
comfortable
times.
in this role.
6 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the different bags, the bags going this way and that way, but the bags all containing different things.
Yeah, apparently in both these movies, there's only one type of luggage you can buy.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Yeah, in this world anyway.
In this world, it's the only one.
Because these bags are constantly getting switched around, and
nobody notices.
No.
Like,
no, because there's always a distraction.
That maid made out like a bandit.
No kidding. She got the money and the jewels and a rich baron.
I know, right?
She never got her underwear back, though.
No one. She could afford to buy some new ones.
Took one. Did a banker take the underwear?
She's got 128 million francs. She can buy the countries that make underwear.
There's a lot bigger cast in Oscar.
Is there a bigger cast?
Yeah, much bigger.
It was
cast.
hard to figure out who everyone was.
In fact, I think almost an unnecessarily bigger cast in Oscar in some cases, just to throw in a bunch of big names.
Yeah, and I mean, like in the cast of Oscar, what they did is they added like the lackeys, whereas in the French Oscar, it's just like one butler and the maid.
Yeah, it's very small. Like the location's huge, but it's a small cast. It's like 6 people.
But that also tells you that it's basically like a play.
Yeah,
because most plays you can't have a cast of thousands. You just need a tiny.
Yeah. So you get the masseuse who comes in, and that's the dude, the backup guy, because once it's all kind of sorted in Barnier's head, he's like, oh shit, well, I need a new suitor for my daughter.
Because she's knocked up.
And she's knocked up, and apparently the daughter anybody will do.
Yeah, like she wants to get out of that house bad, but I'm like
really wants
just
to get out.
Really think about it, sweetie.
Yeah, it does this really
it.
horrible fake cry to manipulate her father. It's like an air raid
I had
siren.
to turn it down. I couldn't listen to it.
It's awful. And I thought it was like bad, and Marisa Tomei actually tones it down when she plays it.
Yeah, I watched the 1991 first, and then I saw like Marisa Tomei, and I'm like going, oh, that's too much. And then I watched the 1967, and I'm like going, oh, that's about right.
No, she toned it down.
She put subtlety in that.
Yeah, she was just saying a lot. Anybody who hates that 1991 movie, just go ahead and try.
This is a very subtle and moving performance.
Yeah. You'll suddenly appreciate the performances more in the Landis version.
That's what I felt, especially with the lead in the French one. From what I was observing, not understanding, was he was really frantic, like flailing around and like over exaggerating everything. And
at times he just goes nuts.
Insane, zazin. Or
yeah, I don't know what that means. But
I know, but it means going batty. But I'm like, I love that. Zazin. It just says it like you're crazy.
Yeah. He just starts. Oh yeah. At one point, he does this weird thing with his face, like he's stretching his face.
Yeah,
and
like his nose.
I didn't
and,
understand
like,
what all that was. Like he kept trying to fake cut off his face.
I think this was a French humor thing.
That one went way over my head. I'm like, what is going on here?
Yeah, I think you have to be French to get it. I don't understand it.
No, was it a Pinocchio thing? I don't know.
Just pulling off his nose, pulling it off, cutting it, hitting himself with his nose. It's very weird.
It was so fucking strange. I didn't.
But I would pay fucking good money to watch Sylvester Stallone do that.
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, he was definitely more subdued.
Sounds like the Stallone one was more grounded in reality.
It really was.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, we got the maid. We talked about the maid. There's all these bags, and the bags start with the bag of jewels, which was the money that was converted into the precious stones to be given to his wife. And Martin keeps going. Was it Martin? Christian Martin is his full name. He keeps struggling with his greed and his love at the same time.
Yes.
Eventually the heart wins out, but he's constantly...
It's insulting.
Yeah, and at one point he does want the jewels back, and he tries to buy them back with another $65 million that he funneled in cash.
Well, no, what he did there, he did something where he wrote himself his own piece of paper that says, like, I grant Christian Martin, like, power and control over, like, sort of the finances of my company. And, like, he tricks him into signing the paper.
Oh,
Bernier.
yes. Yeah.
And so he goes to the bank, and he just takes $60 million, but he's got paperwork that says he's allowed to.
Yeah.
And Bernier signed on.
Yeah, because he's the accountant, so he's like, oh, sign here, sign here, sign here, and then he has him sign a piece of paper, and then he just fills in the details of it later.
He has him sign the piece of paper and saying, I have read and understood.
Yeah.
So Bernier has also written in his own handwriting, I have read and understood. So, of course, the bank thinks that's right.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, he's constantly manipulating. I'm like, the gangster thing makes more sense, because I'm like, man, I'd murder this motherfucker.
I don't know. A corrupt businessman, I totally get. Because, like, Bernier, the whole time, like, he's trying to get the jewels back and everything back and make the guy marry his daughter without getting anything in return.
Yeah.
Which is the same in the 90s one.
Yeah.
He's trying that, but it never pans out.
So, skipping ahead, there now are 3 bags because the maid keeps trying to quit, and she's got her bag packed, and she apparently only packed a bag of underwear to leave. She had her maid outfit and her underwear.
Well,
that's
she's
it.
marrying a rich baron. I think she just figures her wardrobe will come.
Yeah.
And that's just, she just needs her underwear. Okay, as a girl, for your underwear, your bras need to fit.
Yeah.
And a good bra is really worth a lot of money.
Yeah. So now you've got the shell game happening with the bags, especially when there's 3 of them. You got 2 bags people actually want and 1 nobody wants. And guess which one Barnier keeps opening because of all the switches and everything else. Meanwhile, there's another kind of shell game happening with his actual daughter because she is in love with Oscar, but Oscar was fired 2 weeks prior to the film even starting, and
left on a polar expedition, apparently.
Polar expedition or something that he does show up later because he doesn't.
But he's been gone for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And we were told at one point that he's left on a polar expedition, so he's gone for 2 weeks. He didn't go on the polar expedition, but he's just been gone for 2 weeks.
Maybe it took 2 weeks to get to wherever the ship, because it's.
I don't know. I think he's a cad.
Yeah,
I think he's
he
just
might be a cad. And he keeps getting scared off. And
well, the giant guy did look like he was going to beat the crap out of him. The giant guy can pull a car out of its spot.
True.
It is a French car, though.
Yeah, true.
The giant masseuse
The giant masseuse, we actually see at one point move a car. It's a small car. It's a really
small car, but still, he's just pulling it by himself.
Yeah, and he's dumber than a sack of hammers.
Oh, totally. See, okay, yeah, and that's...
But Barnier keeps trying to say, hey, my daughter, if you marry my daughter, she comes with this big dowry.
Yeah.
And, keeps opening the bag and keeps pouring out underwear, and he's like, okay.
And the masseuse thinks he's insane. He's like, oh, yes, this is Jules.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and most of these scenes come back around again in the John Landis version as well.
Oh, for sure. The underwear running joke, that's a joke you got to keep that.
Yeah.
You're always going to keep it.
Yeah. I mean, there's more to that one in particular, but man, just the frantic pace of this movie is...
There was times when I'm like going, okay, well, how did that get there? Like a couple times I'm like, oh, wait, okay, so that's how that bag got there and that got moved around. Like you have to pay attention.
I wanted to make a floor plan and a chart and
flow chart. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got that little gym upstairs which he keeps people in every once in a while, but then he's got a small office where like he pulls it closed with that like that little divider thing.
Yeah. Oh, and at one point now he's got to actually hire a new maid. New maid shows up, but he knew her from his past, and turns out they had quite the past.
Yeah.
And he knocked up the maid. The maid turns out to be the mom of the fake daughter. Yeah. So it's actually the real daughter, and
it's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. Yeah, I don't know. It's you're right. Like it is a frantic pace, but it's funny. Like you're talking about, like the shell game with his daughter. That's exactly what it is. Because it's sort of like, well, we need to marry her to somebody, and they're just like, yeah, because you can have that, and women are interchangeable, and men are interchangeable. You just have to marry somebody if you're not.
Now, Landis simplifies that a bit. He takes Oscar out of the picture quite early, and there's not as much of a shell game happening. Sylvester Stallone tries to set her up with Dr. Poole, who's an elocution doctor. He's trying
rather than a masseuse.
Well, no. Sylvester Stallone doesn't. It's the other guy who wants to marry the fake daughter. Sets. Her and Doctor up because he doesn't want to marry her.
Because initially Bertrand and Stallone try to set, because there are like these contracts that are signed that he marries his daughter, and he'll get
saying that this is my child.
Yeah, and he'll get this money for the daughter. But he's not marrying the daughter, so Bertrand and Sylvester Stallone think they're coming out great on this. Or my daughter gets a husband who makes a good living, even though I'm the one paying for it.
Yeah.
So he's trying to, like, well, you can't.
Well, both times.
Yeah. You don't get, if you want to marry the girl you're in love with, you get nothing. If you want to marry my daughter, you get something out of this.
No, I think in both of them, what he's done is he's like, you get to marry my daughter. Now, what he's doing is he's tricking him into thinking, oh, you get to marry my daughter. The guy who wants to marry, who is supposed to be the fake daughter, is who he thinks he's marrying. Like both times, he's still under the impression that that's the guy's daughter. So by doing that contract, he thinks, oh, this is fine. But then part of the trick is like he has to marry the woman he doesn't want to marry, who's the actual daughter. And they're both upset every time. They both don't want to marry this girl.
Nobody wants to marry
But the trick is that the father's like going, well, okay, you don't want to marry my daughter, but you've signed a contract, so yeah, this is just going to happen. Like, the guy's getting tricked into marrying one he doesn't want, and, like, the daughter has to...
it's constantly upsetting. Everybody's trying to screw everybody else to get what they want. Now, I couldn't find a trailer for the French one in English, so...
you should run it in French just so everyone can feel my pain.
Maybe we should.
Yeah, maybe I will try to find I don't have one ready, so I'm not going to run that right now. But I did find one for the Sylvester Stallone one, so...
Sweet.
So, that one I'll run right now. Maybe at the end of this, I'll insert the French one just for our French audience. For that one guy who understands French. All right, so give a listen to the John Landis 1991 remake trailer for Oscar.
The year is 1931, and gangster Snaps Provolone is in control. The police are powerless. His rivals are helpless. No one in the entire city dares to defy him, except his daughter.
I'm a modern 30s woman. Look!
Put that away of your father! She'll do anything, anywhere, with anybody.
Your daughter and I are lovers.
What?
Did he tell you I was pregnant?
What? Touchstone Pictures presents Sylvester Stallone in the story of a father.
What we need is a husband.
Trying to find someone.
No, look at us.
Who will marry his daughter.
I've decided to go away to a convent.
Well, you're a little late.
Maybe it'll be Anthony.
But I love Thornton.
Or Thornton.
I want Oscar.
Or Oscar.
Who's Oscar?
He's got pimples.
A couple of dates with you and that'll clear up.
But whoever she decides to spend her life with.
You mean she's having the chauffeurs, baby?
It's sure to ruin his life.
I just came from Lisa's bedroom.
You and everybody else.
Sylvester Stallone, Oscar.
Listening to The Invasion of the Remake, and this is Jason Mewes saying snooch to the nooch!
Okay, so that was the trailer for the 1991 John Landis remake, which was adapted for this version by Michael Berry, who you may recall from the screenplays for Bad Boys and Amazon Women on the Moon.
So that's a variety.
One good one, one bad one.
Amazon Women was awesome.
This movie had a shit ton of people in it.
It's a killer cast.
It is a killer cast. So I'll just read off a few names here. Sylvester Stallone, another name that's hard to pronounce, Ornella Muti?
From Italy.
From Italy.
Big Italian actress.
Yeah.
Probably the only real Italian in the whole movie.
Peter Riegert, Elizabeth Barondez, Chazz Palminteri.
Chazz.
Yeah, he's great. Art LaFleur, one of our favorites. Kurtwood Smith, Marisa Tomei, Harry Shearer, Tim Curry, Linda Gray, Jim Mulholland. Vincent Spano, just tons of people in here, and an opening sequence with Kirk Douglas
Yes.
as Sylvester Stallone's father, who's
Beating on
His
him.
dying father.
his dying father, who makes Sylvester Stallone Angelo snaps provolone.
It's actually Prevolone.
Provolone?
Is it Prevolone?
He always says Prevolone. Everybody else says Provolone,
Provolone.
like the cheese.
Okay, it was even
Oh, see?
provolone in IMDb, so...
Yeah, Stallone says Prevolone every single time.
Oh.
Whenever he says his name.
Because he doesn't want to sound cheesy.
Get it? Hey-o.
Nice one.
So Kirk Douglas makes him promise not to leave a life
You
of
have to go-
crime.
yeah, you have to go
he's a
straight.
gangster.
Yeah.
At one point, he even makes a offhanded joke about St. Valentine's Day massacre.
Yeah.
He's like looks up fondly in his mind. Hey, that was a good day.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I kind of like some of the additions into this. They do throw in a little bit of extra jokes in here for its 30s setting. And I was reading that John Landis intentionally set this in the 30s to give it that more of that vaudeville feel.
True.
That farce from that era, that this would fit more into that vein. And I totally get that. It works. I mean, I'd seen this several times and loved this movie as a kid because I like older comedies.
Yeah. Well, this one I out of the two kind of gangster movies sort of around, like this one was earlier, Johnny Dangerously, I always liked a little bit
Oh,
better.
I love that movie too.
Is
Yeah.
that
It was
Michael
so
Keaton?
good. Yeah,
Yeah.
Michael
Yeah.
Keaton. And
Yeah, that one's pretty good too. I really liked this movie. Watching it last night because I was so aggravated from trying to watch the French one that I just wasn't into it. Mm-hmm. But thinking back, I'm like, no, this movie is really good. And on IMDb, it's critic rating is very low.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go through the user reviews, everybody freaking loves this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still
loved
like
it,
this
too.
movie, although after watching the French one, I do feel the French one works a little bit better. It's tighter.
it's very French. And like you
Yeah.
say, all the extra cast, there's only a couple of additions that help it.
Yeah, I feel like
Connie.
they're there to slow things down a little bit. Yeah,
Connie's the best additional cast. I love
and the
him.
Finucci's weren't bad either.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Finucci's.
They were new.
Finucci's.
We're the Finucci's.
They were kind of there to replace the masseuse scenes, but not replace the masseuse character. If that makes any sense.
But I also like the change and not the masseuse
He's
character,
trying
the
to-
doctor.
yeah.
I was going to say,
This
I
is
thought
the-
the masseuse character became Tim Curry.
It was.
He did, but-
The function of Tim Curry replaced the masseuse
masseuse.
character, whereas the Finucci's were, in a way, they were there to facilitate Stallone's moving into as a legitimate businessman, because this is the day he marks that
Yeah.
he's going
Yeah,
to
a month after
go,
he
a
promises
month
his
after
dad.
his dad. This is the day
Who dies
But-
and then comes
he's,
back from the
he's
dead to
made a
get him
deal
overtime.
with a bunch
Yeah.
of bankers to invest in the bank, and they're really only using him for his money.
Yes.
And there's
In-
that
in some of the-
red-haired guy,
That-
that guy.
That 80s guy?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's the guy who shut the containment thing
Atherton.
down in...
William Atherton.
William Atherton, yeah.
Yeah,
He's the
yeah.
guy who shuts down the containment unit in Ghostbusters.
That's right.
He made a living playing bastards.
Yeah.
And he does it so well.
He has the look.
Actually, he's the only one that kind of defends
True.
Stallone in this movie.
He's kind of sitting there going, yeah, no, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
But what's funny is Stallone, the whole point of the movie is going, you guys are crooked. I'm used to dealing with crooks.
Yeah.
I'm not equipped to deal with bankers.
Yeah.
I had heard that this comedy vehicle for Stallone came after Schwarzenegger had some success with Kindergarten Cop and Twins. And so they thought, oh, maybe that he could make the transition into comedy. And honestly, I think that Stallone is really good at comedy. He has really great timing, and he plays a good straight man.
Yeah. I don't think he's gotten the best scripts for comedy.
No,
in the world,
but I
yeah.
feel like he has an aptitude for it. Where,
think so,
as
too.
much as I love Schwarzenegger, it comes off really strained.
See, I think it has to, you're right, it has to be the right script, but I think what a bunch of missteps that Stallone has made is that he's wanted to be the funny guy, and he's not. He's funny when the comedy is kind of happening to him and he is the straight person around which the comedy happens.
Which is why this works so well.
Yeah,
I
he's
think
not your comic lead, but he is the person he just has to be the straight man. If he can do that and just stay out of trying to
I think
make
this
the
is the most
happen.
successful of the comedies he's done in my mind.
I'd say it's the.
Well, I mean, I don't know successful,
Stallone done
not
other
financially, but
Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
yeah, this is the one that I think works.
I remember that.
Yeah, Stop or Mom Will Shoot was horrible.
I know, because he was trying to be funny.
Yeah, yeah.
He was in Tango and Cash.
I'm not sure.
He was also more straight in Tango
Yeah.
and Cash, but again, when he was trying to deliver funny lines, he's not funny.
Yeah, they do trim down this more into reaction than dialogue for him.
And that's what works. Like
Yeah.
he's a great reactor to terrible things happening, and that's
Yeah.
where his comedy is.
Yeah.
And that's entertaining.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean,
He's quite entertaining in this.
yeah, he reacts a lot, and there's a lot more slapstick in this one. If that makes,
Yes.
and I'd hate to say like more slapstick than the '67 one, but you know, everybody's he's got all these gangsters around him that he's adapting into this new lifestyle. You know, that's right hand man is I'm going to call him the consigliere is now the butler, right? And the rest of these guys. So when he's overreacting, they come charging into rooms with guns and weapons, and he's constantly disarming everybody.
He's like, don't call me boss.
When he
Sorry, boss.
disarms Connie for like, I don't know, 5 minutes.
Oh God, yeah. And the cartoon, like, there's no way.
There's a mace. He's got a mace.
He's got a mace and
No,
swords
that
and
character
knives.
was Chazz Palminteri, right?
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
Connie? Yeah.
Yeah.
I really love that character. He like embraced that role.
So good. So that was like I just devoured every scene with him. They were so awesome.
It's weird, like, you know, he's dangerous, but you just look at him and you just want to, like, he's just such a stupidly sweet mobster. You just like him.
When she's like, "Don't take your eyes off this bag," and he just sits there.
Yeah, staring.
And then he like always tears up whenever like stuff's happening. Like he sees Tim
the two
Curry and the
kissing.
daughter kissing, and he like
Yeah.
tears up, and he's tearing up at the
Yeah.
wedding.
I like Peter Riegert a lot in this movie.
Yeah.
too. He was so good. Like he just made that switch from gangster to butler. I'm good at everything I do.
Yeah.
It was really funny.
So good.
Let me hang your hat, whoosh, and just the
Yeah,
bond.
two hats.
Two hats, and they both hit the hat rack, and everything's just so easy for this guy.
So good.
You know, and if he'd been more central in this, he'd probably knew what bag was where, and like he probably knew exactly what was
Yeah.
going on. He was very efficient in his job, despite the fact that he kept making that bag disappear.
See, and this is the interesting thing. I think what's funny about all of this and the bag switching, the problem with everything happening is everybody is too efficient and too good at their job. So that this keeps happening.
Yeah,
If they were lazy or stupid or slow, this would not have happened.
yeah.
Yeah, I know they're all real on it all the time,
Yeah.
except the maid. I thought the maid was in this. I thought the maid was the worst character. Her accent
yeah, she's not
seemed
good.
really
No,
forced.
she's
and-
not very good, and she plays down a lot less as well. Like they don't play her as much as they do in the other one.
No.
She constantly, you know, can I speak to you for a minute, Mr. Provolone? And
Yeah.
no, just no, until she finally gets to quit. And in similar circumstances, she's going to marry the formerly pimply rich dude
Yeah.
that was originally set up with the daughter, and the daughter in this case being Marisa
Marisa Tomei.
Tomei. So
I thought she did a really great job.
She
as,
was.
like. Well, actually, I kind of felt like she was playing like a 1930s like Jewish princess kind of character,
Kind of.
even though she was supposed to be Italian. But I thought she did a great job. The
She-
stop crying
Yeah.
was really funny. The like really gutter accent.
she
was
doesn't come
using.
off as bratty as the French one.
Thank you. Yeah, there's still something endearing about her, even though she seems spoiled. Mm-hmm. Like,
She was a charming character. I liked her.
Yeah.
and I like the mother in this one too.
Yeah, she comes more manipulative in this one than bratty.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she strikes in a little bit, and I like the fact that she goes for the doctor. Like he's
That's
a smarter
That's
guy.
just weird. Like
I love that.
you know-
I totally would go for Tim Curry. Why not?
yeah.
Well, because she's just like I don't know. He's like a really sweet character. Everything about Tim Curry's character is perfect.
Yeah. Now Anthony's the suitor.
Yeah. Suitor crooked accountant.
Crooked accountant.
That guy was good too.
That's Vincent Spano.
Vincent Spano.
Yeah, he did a good job.
I waited until the credits. I'm like, that's Vincent Spano?
I don't think he comes off more charming than Weasley than the other guy. I think the other guy, he's manipulative. I buy his greed.
Yeah.
And he's constantly, I buy him as the con.
Yeah.
I don't buy Vincent Spano as much in this one.
I don't know. I kind of did. I sort of got it.
He was like too charming,
Yeah.
Like he's a con man.
He was a little too upset at the loss of that first bit of money.
Yeah.
Oh, he does he plays it a little bit more in this one, but I don't know. I felt the other guy was far more weaselly.
I don't know. I felt in the other one, I felt Oscar was the true weasel out of the whole thing, and like the 1967 one, like that Oscar guy, I was like, you may be pretty to look at, but you're terrible.
Oh yeah,
I hated him.
He was super handsome when he showed up, right?
Yeah. That's what I thought was great about all Oscar showing up in this one, where he's just like this
random
Honestly,
dude.
I'm kind of confused at why the movie's named after the character who's not in the movie.
But they reference him all the time, and they're all looking for Oscar. And I thought it was really great with him not being in the movie. Because then you were like, well, who the hell is Oscar?
Yeah.
And you knew as soon as like the wedding comes at the end that he's going to show up.
Oh, sure.
And then he's like just this tiny guy, and Stallone has had enough. He's like, get him out of here.
Isn't there like another movie where there's like a character where they just kind of never show up and they keep
Usual
talking about him?
Suspects?
Maybe Kaiser Soze, or maybe there's also a play Waiting for Godot. They talk about Godot the entire time. Doesn't show.
Yeah.
I thought it worked well.
Yeah, a missing character is a great device.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, he was like the vehicle for the majority of the shell games in this, and then the stupid maid was the one for the other one, just to get the bags moving, right?
Yeah. They do simplify this one a little bit with the shell game, just to make it a little easier to follow.
There's a lot of jewels in that bag. Is that just me?
Oh, yeah. Whereas the other one felt like it was a little more legitimate, high-end. Here's a few jewels, but they're really high-end. This thing was just loaded. It's like, how many jewelry stores did you heist?
Yeah, and then we were talking, like, while you were running the trailer, I'm like, because something that bothered me the whole time when they're like, he converted it into jewels. Yeah. I don't know if you're familiar with jewelry and stuff like that. Unless you're willing to kind of sell it on the black market, the resale value of something that's already put into like a piece of jewelry is a lot less than what you put into it.
Yeah. Whereas this one makes sense because if he's buying all this stuff off of a fence, there's probably that bag's probably got the retail value that.
Yeah, and the French one, not at all.
No. When you start thinking in gangster terms, they're probably using fences and things like that. Because, I mean, he's just turning legit that day in the Landis film. So any money that's been siphoned off is from criminal enterprises.
Yeah. He knows how to hide it.
Yeah. And he picked the right day because, my God, everybody's trying to shoot him.
Yes.
Yeah, that whole movie happens in 4 hours of time. Like, everything that happens in that movie is a span of 4 hours. Because he's up at 8, and then the bankers come at noon, which is the end of the movie, right? With all the cops and the other gang, which kind of like
FBI
was a weird subplot.
Cops.
Yeah, it was weird. In the original film, when they realize they have the bag of clothes again and they don't have any, everybody jumps in their cars to go after the maid. Now in this one, Kurtwood Smith is Lieutenant Toomey, along with a couple other cops, one of which is Art LaFleur, and they're all monitoring Provolone and his house, and they're constantly seeing these bags back and forth, and they're just thinking, my God, they're doing drops in the broad daylight.
See, I thought they were FBI. I could be wrong.
I don't know.
What about Art LaFleur? Every scene in that movie through the entire thing, he's snacking on something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like a big, huge guy, right?
Yeah.
I just thought that was funny. He never has a word, but he's snacking.
He was doing the Brad
scene.
Pitt in Oceans 11 and 12.
Yeah.
But looks the part.
Yeah, he looks like he could legitimately be snacking all the time.
Yeah. Now, Kurtwood's just he wants to get the big collar, right?
Yeah.
And he's, he wants the media to see it and everything else. He wants to be the hero cop. Mm-hmm. So he's monitoring
He's the dad
all this.
from that 70s show, in case no one knows what his name is.
Yeah. And for the guys who didn't watch television, he's the villain from the original RoboCop.
Yes.
Yep. Yes, he is.
So, hey, look, we might actually be able to talk about him again.
I know.
I know, right? So he's, in a way, this is to make these switches kind of okay. Because the bankers show up, he thinks they're all gangsters, and he's thinking he can do this big bust near the end.
Yeah.
And the constant bag switches and opens up the bag in front of the media and is full of underwear. So this actually works well for Provolone, even though it's costing him a lot of money, that he's been swindled and is off to the races with the maid. He's like, maybe I shouldn't go after her because this will keep me out of jail.
But you're like, this is your lead. You kind of want, like, Snaps is trying to go legit. You kind of want him to win a little.
And that's just it. There's that extra little thing where it's just this little guy in the French film who's just trying to keep up with the plot. Whereas this one, it's the same plot, but he's also trying to go straight to honor his father, so there's this little extra motivation to root for your lead. And he's just, trying to make a go of this, trying to keep his guys on track and everything else, and, try to go clean. And it's the world is not letting him do it.
It's like, just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in.
Yeah.
He's trying so hard.
All the gangsters were great, like accepting their like weirdo roles.
Yes.
Like he asked the one guy to go get his daughter or something like that, and he's like, "I can't. I'm smoking a salmon." And he, has this like big raw salmon. Well, put it out.
Yeah. They're cooking. In
was
the
he
kitchen,
smoking it with his cigar?
Maybe.
I wasn't sure.
So, yeah.
And I love the one gangster in all the kitchen scenes. She's just endlessly kneading that huge thing of bread.
I know.
Or dough. Like just every scene through the whole 4 hours.
No bread gets made.
Yeah.
He's just doing the same bit of dough. But it is 4 hours. It takes a while to get that batch to be done.
But yeah, it was pretty funny. All those guys were great. I really liked them. And they had the endless, like, sorry, boss. And they all, like, just the timing, right? And I really love the scene where he's like, don't call me boss, call me Mr. Prevolone.
Mr. Prevolone.
And they're all walking down the stairs in unison, and they're, like, it's so well put together.
Yeah.
Like, the dialogue, like, they're all on time with each other perfectly. I really liked it. It was really good.
Now, the additions of the Finucci's,
Hilarious.
they're the tailors. They're trying to make Provolone look like a big business guy. Yeah, the Finucci. And their way of advertising their brand is a gangster had been murdered in a restaurant in one of their suits. And
it still looks nice.
Yeah, and it still looks nice. And Provolone's like, oh, that's a nice piece of work. Nice suit, too.
Yeah.
Because,
yeah, he's over the table, been over the table, still looks good.
So they think this is their claim to fame. So they're constantly showing this little piece of paper to people like, hey, look at this.
Which does come back later.
And that comes back around in a really
so.
funny way with Anthony.
Which what I think is that what you were kind of touching on with the masseuse character is like the intimidation part with the masseuse. The Finucci's occupy that because they've made Tim Curry like this mild-mannered doctor. He can't be that person.
No.
Yeah, so Stallone convinces Anthony that they're hitmen.
Yeah.
So, Finucci's, they stand up. It's like, Finucci, sit down. They sit down.
Yeah. They're very reactive to their client, so it looks like they're just ready at the snap of a finger to do whatever they want. And when they get some private time, they show Anthony the piece of paper.
This is our work.
This is our work. He's like, you did this? Yeah. Oh, sometimes we do 7 or 8 in a day.
And they think they're telling him about
It's just like a job to you? Oh, yeah, but we don't like to work on weekends. We're family men.
It's like, we're family men. Who are your kids? Well, there's a Leo. He's trying to name them.
I got a 10 Bambinos. You don't got a 10 Bambino.
Yeah.
I got a little Luigi, big Luigi.
There are some
Luigi
minor
Jr.
characters that are so good. Just like they add just some fun.
I think all the side characters in this play a role. Like everyone's important.
Yeah, and they're all kind of still like, even the additional scenes, they're all that classic vaudeville scenario. I kept thinking back to Abbott and Costello and some were visual gags, Three Stooges, and they're all. It really is a love letter to that stuff, and I can see maybe in the '90s why the movie didn't do very well because it's so far removed. Unless you really appreciate that older style of film, you might not get it. It wasn't what was popular in the day. You got to think this is when Andrew Dice Clay was really hot, and Eddie Murphy, and it was a much rawer kind of comedy.
Kevin Smith, Clerks. We're getting like that
just
90s independent movies.
Later.
A little bit later, only 3 years. But you're getting 91 grunge. It's not, people are not looking back on that. I think it's the same reason why Clue didn't land when it first came out, but people came to love it later.
Yeah.
It's that same farce.
Yeah, and it was more of the raunchy comedies and stuff that were in favor at the time, and the more classic dialogue-driven kind of gags. Just that wasn't what people were looking for.
No. But yeah, I think this one ages. I don't remember liking it, I think, when I first saw it. But watching it now, I do enjoy it.
Yeah. Now, I mean, as a kid, when I saw this movie, I was howling. But my first exposure to a lot of that stuff were older films. We had a black and white TV. A lot of that was still being rerun on television because the newer movies never hit television at that time. No. So it was a lot of more classic stuff, and I'd watch that with my dad or even my grandparents. So that was my introduction to comedy. My comedians were Abbott and Costello and the Marx Brothers, and
it's a lot of that.
Burns and Allen, and I saw all that stuff. I mean, I was technically too old that I shouldn't have known who these people, but that was the comedy I grew up loving.
Fast talking, door slams, misunderstandings.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
It's always moving too, the people are always everything.
It's like that. When you say it's exhausting, it is. There's a lot of fast pace. You gotta pay attention.
Oh yeah, especially the French one. My God, at least when I watched the 91, I'm like,
it's a leisurely pace.
Yeah, I felt like I was just like, okay, now I'm good now. Like, this is much easier to follow because the dialogue slows down. If anything, it's kind of being picked up by the people around them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
which I think works really great.
Yeah, I think so too.
Everybody keeps it moving. It's like a really frantic game of telephone.
Yeah. Who said this? Who said that? Kind of thing.
I think we should, because we kind of glossed over with the other mob or whatever, the inconsequential gangsters for the beginning and end of the film.
Yeah, what are they called? The Vendettis?
Vendettis.
Vendettis. I love how that is the Vendettis.
Yeah.
What does that sound like?
Yeah. Vendettis. Well, there's a scene where the head of the Vendettis is getting his nails done, and the girl doing it, the manicurist, is Arlene Sorkin.
Yes.
And right away, even my wife picked this up. Right away, Arlene Sorkin is the voice of Harley Quinn.
The original Harley Quinn.
Who's a huge deal. But this is
I knew it from other things.
This is 3 years prior to Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
And even Arlene Sorkin's first Batman gig was as, Bunny in Mask of the Phantasm. But, she is straight up doing Harley. It's the same character.
Oh, it is. It's I kept waiting for her to say, Mr. J.
Yeah. And that's exactly what Heather said, too. She's like, yeah, she just needs to say Mr. J, and
it was
But yeah, it was neat
on.
to see her, and she actually kind of looks like her.
Yeah. She was, seeing a younger Arlene Sorkin at that point, and still the bubbly blonde, and but she put on that really thick accent with the high pitched voice, and
anything else you want me to do?
Yeah, and it was Harley Quinn. It was fantastic.
Yeah, if you're,
but
it
is such a
series.
But at the same time, I'm like, it just made me realize, I'm like, oh yeah, that was like that 30s mall, right? So in a way, that was perfect. Yeah,
and I mean that in Batman, that is the overall atmosphere of that show was that kind of 30s style stuff, right? That pulp era stuff.
So makes me wonder if Bruce Timm and the other producers
they watched Oscar and were like,
"That's our Harley. That's our Harley."
Maybe.
So I don't know. We need Harley, some verification on this.
Harley was a construct of the cartoon. A lot of people forget that.
Yeah,
she did not exist in comic books. She was made specifically for that show. So I wonder if she was made specifically because they saw Arlene Sorkin in Oscar.
Yeah,
just do that again.
I mean, that character's changed so much now that
she's you can't go anywhere in that community and not trip over Harley Quinn.
5 or 6 Harley Quinns.
Yeah, now I mean these days we got with
I can
Suicide
see at least
Squad.
2 in this room.
Yeah, exactly. Got 2 hanging on my wall.
I see much over there.
Well, there's more sitting on my shelf statue wise, but the characters turned more into almost a character out of a porn movie these days.
Yeah, seems that way.
Yeah, she's getting very
in
sexualized.
the 90s, she was awesome.
Yeah, still an awesome character, and I don't think I think when that movie drops, it's going to be just her and Deadpool. That's all we're going to hear about, her and Deadpool.
Oh, that's all I'm hearing about is Fucking
God.
Deadpool.
Well,
You know
I
who
think-
I hated? Deadpool.
The business I'm in, we got carpet bombed years ago with Deadpool. And,
Yeah, you're sick of it, I'm sure.
And that's all I got this past week was,
really love
have
the
you seen
movie.
Deadpool? Have you seen Deadpool? Have you seen Deadpool? Fuck off. At this point, I don't want to see Deadpool. I'm never going to be able to escape that fucking character. He's the new Bart Simpson now.
I loved it.
Kind of
I
is
loved
the new
it.
Bart Simpson.
Yeah.
Every time I
I
sell
super
a New
loved it.
Mutants 98 for some extortionary amount of money, I'm just like, you're paying for a Rob Liefeld creation. Have a good day. Have a good day, sir.
Considering how common that book actually
Oh my god.
is.
Yeah, I remember we found one in a box.
I just put one out for 400. Yeah.
450? Yeah.
Wow.
I remember pulling one out of a box that we bought, a long box of comics, and there was $5 price tag on it, and I peeled it off, and underneath was a $15 price tag, and I peeled that off, and there was a $10 one, and I peeled that off, there was a $20 one.
Holy Jesus, that must have been a really
Sat
thick...
forever. Oh yeah, it was like stacked. That's why I was peeling them individually.
Yeah.
And, like, no one cared. No one cared about that character. It was
Yeah,
crazy.
I remember how long that was like just a $1 bin book for the longest time.
Yeah, it's like
If hindsight, I probably would have bought a shit ton of those books.
I was
I got to
just
pay for a house right now.
talking with the people who own where you work there about
Mm-hmm.
Walking Dead, because a collection was coming in the store that day, or maybe it came in, I'm not sure, but Deb said it was. And we were talking about Walking Dead, and I was moonlighting at a comic shop when that book came out, and I remember looking at that book going, I'm kind of done with this zombie thing. I'll wait for the trades.
That's what I did
But
too.
there's 25 of them on the shelf, and
Yeah.
a $2,000 book now. I could have bought them all. But
Yeah.
who knew, right?
Yeah, I missed my shot at it too. I was working when that book came out, and
Yeah.
I didn't grab it because I was so zombied out, and I have been for the past 15 years now, I think.
Yeah, it's been a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
I think the greatest moment in this movie, and I feel like, because they had talked about possibly Danny DeVito being the lead and a couple other people, but I think casting Stallone is what made Tim Curry's character an elocution coach.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then had the greatest scene in the entire
Yes.
movie where Tim Curry is giving Stallone speech lessons.
Yeah.
And he just can't. Stallone's like, I never learned to speak too good. And I just, like, that it was that all tongue-in-cheek? Like, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
It's good.
Oh, the
It's-
dangling participle
Douglas
joke?
wears the diphthongs.
Yeah.
And he talks like the Marisa Tomei is like, you speak very well considering your upbringing.
Yeah. Connie, you've got a dangling
Possible.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Turns around.
Like, yeah, like he's mild-mannered, but he's just funny. He's entertaining.
I just worry about Mother, but then again, she does have the cats. Oh, he's so good. You could just cut his scenes into like a little short, and it would be fantastic. But
Yes.
that bit is my absolute favorite part in the whole movie. Is when he's
Even
giving speech
even
lessons.
Yeah.
shitty movies, Tim Curry's usually pretty good.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I've
Yeah.
seen some terrible movies, but because he was
Oh,
in
he's
them.
in a lot of terrible movies.
I know, but I
Thankfully,
still
this
enjoy
is
it.
not one of them.
True.
Some people might disagree, but I think those are the people
Those are the
who
people
never
that
saw
just-
the movie.
Those are the people who just hate Stallone.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like, I mean, like I've said before, like, I think this is the one where he took his strength. Like, they were like, his strength for comedy, somebody was able to direct him so that he was like, convinced him that this is what you need to play and it'll be really funny. Mm-hmm. And
Are you saying that John Landis is a competent director?
in this,
he
yeah.
has
That's
been
crazy.
known.
He has had a couple successes.
Yeah.
Really, he's the one who made Stallone funny for me, so yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, probably one of the best known horror movies,
His resume is gigantic,
Yeah,
but
but-
American Werewolf in London.
and which is incredibly
It's
funny.
amazing, and it's
It's
really
an
funny.
incredibly funny movie.
Yeah, no, so like it's sort of once they got that in there, like just made it work. And I think it's one of those movies you have to, like I said, I don't remember enjoying it when I first saw it, but now I really do. I think this has aged well.
Yeah, well, because it's a classic form of comedy,
Yeah.
and timing's everything. And I think that it was just an ill-timed movie.
Yeah, because I was trying to look at the IMDb and stuff that came out around that time, and there wasn't a lot. Like, I think the big movie that year was like Silence of the Lambs, but you go to like a couple of years, you got Wayne's World, like stuff that's based on like characters from SNL. It's not the same. You're moving into a completely different era. This wasn't. It just. I don't think it was released at the right time. Maybe 4 years earlier it might have. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe
Or
this
7
was,
years later.
I don't know if maybe timing was never an issue. Maybe it's just a case of, it's an older style of comedy, but will that have worked in any time? You know, it's just maybe it works better as a play. I don't know.
I really
for
felt
people.
like it would be good
Like,
as a play. Like
yeah.
they, even in the Stallone one, they play it like a stage play.
It still has that stage play feel, that single location. It's still a big manor kind of thing, but the camera follows it around really nicely.
Yeah.
There is that one moment that I noticed in the film that, like, bang, took me right out. When Stallone breaks the fourth wall. And I don't know if you caught it. That he's talking to Anthony in, like, the library area. And they're bantering back and forth, and all the bags have done their thing. And it was something about the $50,000 in cash that he had skimmed. Not the jewels, the cash. And
To buy back the jewels.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then
Which we were hoping was going to be a bag full of laundry, but wound up being the jewels.
whatever Anthony had said, and I should have wrote it down, but whatever Anthony had said was like an eye roll moment, right? It was like, oh, you know, you got to be kidding me. But Stallone looks directly into the camera and does one of those, you know, eye roll kind of facial expressions.
Yeah.
And it was like, you would, if you were at a play, you know, you would pull the audience in, right? But like in a movie, it was just like, whoa, I just pulled me right out of it. I don't know. Looking at John Landis's, like, some of his other movies, and, like, he kind of knows comedies, you know. Some, like, small budget pictures like Animal House and the Blues Brothers and Trading Places. And
Trading Places is
Spies
amazing.
Like Us. And,
Spies
like,
Like Us.
Oh,
Coming
that's
to
actually really
America. Yeah, and then Oscar.
Yeah.
See, he's a good comedy director.
Beverly Hills Cop 3.
Okay.
She starts losing it in the 90s, but whatever.
A lot of people lost it in the 90s. It's fine.
American
There's a lot of drugs.
Werewolf
There was
in
heroin.
Paris.
It's
Did he
fine.
direct Paris?
I don't think he directed Paris.
Okay, maybe that's a good thing then.
Oh, good God, yes.
He also directed the greatest music video of all time.
That's what I keep thinking of every time I think John Landis. That's the first thing that comes to my head.
Yeah.
Well, and most recently, Burke and Hare in like 2010.
Oh, Burke and Hare was pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
liked Burke and Hare.
but he's got some chops. Boy's got some chops.
Yeah, I mean that's one of those names. Like I'll try to tell people their resume when I name a director. I
Yeah.
just don't have to. It's John Landis, right?
No,
Yeah, everyone knows
people-
John Landis.
Yeah.
You've seen a John Landis movie. If you haven't seen a John Landis movie, I can't help you.
Yeah,
You haven't seen a lot
exactly,
of movies if you
right?
haven't seen at least one of them.
You know, and you watch a John Landis movie and you watch a movie from a filmmaker who loves movies.
Yeah.
Like, you know he does. He knows his stuff. I don't know how many times I've seen him on documentaries about filmmaking and or film genres, and he's just so passionate about that.
Well, yeah, like, and that's really illustrative here. Like, he knows how to ape that farce style and do
Yeah.
it well.
Yeah.
Like, he gets it.
And he also knows how to like play to his cast's strengths.
Yes.
I felt, especially with Oscar, but then looking back at like Blues Brothers and stuff, like he knows how to have the right character for the right actor.
Yeah. I read somewhere that Sylvester Stallone would have played this movie differently, but I don't know. Maybe it's just because it hasn't had the best historical look at it, where it's had a lot of negativity behind it. I think it was up for Razzies and stuff that year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, him and Marisa Tomei.
Yeah, which is a shame.
But when you watch the
because
1967,
I don't think it's really his performance. I don't.
No.
In fact, I don't think there's anything really bad about this movie. It's actually a really entertaining movie.
If you want an over-the-top comedy with like incredibly well-written misdirection, it's the movie to watch.
Yeah.
and I think it's sort of when you're talking about Razzies, sometimes it's sort of like it's not. You're right. I don't think it's his performance in this movie.
No.
I think it's sort of the whole idea, and we've seen
It's not
Stallone
like-
try to do comedy and do it badly.
Yeah.
Sort of like that just seemed to be like your fallback thing is like, oh, he's done a comedy, we got to nominate it for a Razzie. It's like it's like the Oscars. Every time, Michael Fassbender just does something in front of a camera, we apparently have to give him an Oscar for it.
I don't think maybe the audiences knew where to put it. Comedy, like I said, the comedies were going
It's
a
very
different
old
direction, and in most people's minds, farces were kind of that Mel Brooks Police Academy kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a little,
And that's which it's not. It's not that kind of late '80s type of farce either. So it's somewhere in between.
Oh, speaking of that, this week, Commandant Lassard died.
What?
Oh,
Yeah,
I did not know.
He was like 93, I think.
I loved him.
Yeah,
he was
he's
so
really
delightful. A goofy little commandant.
Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah, I'm just looking it up now. I can't remember his name.
All I can remember is like
George
he's
Gaines.
doing. Oh, George Gaines. All I can remember is like one of the dirtiest things I remember seeing as a child and not quite understanding what was happening in Police Academy, where he's giving the speech and the prostitute is underneath the
On
podium.
the podium, yeah.
The blowjob.
Didn't know what was going on. I was a youngster, but apparently something was happening.
Wasn't he the dad in Punky Brewster as well?
Oh,
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
you're
he might have
right.
been.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So just because you brought up Police Academy, so rest in peace, George Gaines.
Aw.
We will
Man.
remember you forever as Commandant Lassard. At least I will.
I will too, yeah.
Commandant
The
Lassard,
police
you made a
academy.
ragtag bunch of nobodies into a well-meaning unit that stops a riot. You rock.
A riot led by Bobcat Goldthwait.
Yes. Who is really delightful, FYI.
Yeah, he's an awesome guy.
Yeah.
Great actor too.
Well, to
Good director.
wrap up Oscar.
Shakes the Clown.
No, Willow Creek and Call Me Lucky.
Oh, didn't he direct Shakes the Clown as well?
I don't know if he directed. He might have written it.
I think he
But-
wrote. I know he wrote and starred, and it has like possibly Adam Sandler's first on-screen role
Holy crap.
because he's like 12 in that.
We
movie.
blame you.
No, don't. He didn't know what he was doing.
He was good until Billy Madison, and then after that, it all fell apart.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of anything else I'd want to say. Like I say, like for the 1991 underrated, like
Yeah.
I think if you don't like it, just give it another
Yeah.
look.
And
right
it ends
now.
in the big wedding with Marisa Tomei marrying Toombs, and of course Anthony
Yeah.
marrying the fake daughter, not daughter.
Yeah, the fake
The
daughter,
fake daughter
real
that is the daughter.
Yeah.
The not daughter that
Teresa.
certainly is the daughter.
Lisa
yeah,
and Teresa.
Lisa and Teresa. But
Lisa
I
and
like the all's well that ends well, like the happy ending.
And that one makes a little more sense that,
But he goes back to crime. Like that's
yeah, at the end of the
insinuating.
day,
True.
he's like, I tried, Pops.
He did. He tried, but it feels like more of a happy ending than the other one.
Yeah.
In a way, yeah, they don't go chasing the money at the end of the movie. 'Cause
No.
No, it's inconsequential.
At the end of the day, it's more about,
It's about marrying off your daughters.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's what that movie is about.
happiness. yeah.
Apparently, divesting yourself of apparently these burdens that are women.
Yeah.
But
I like how
Do you think his guys killed Oscar?
get him out of here. I think they did.
I don't know if they did. I think they probably took him somewhere, put him in the army again. I don't know.
I'm confident.
I think they put him on a boat somewhere.
Oh, and that was Oscar is the screenplay writer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That might do it.
I can't remember his name, but he that's his cameo.
Oh,
His like one
Jim Mulholland.
Yeah, Joe Mulholland, his one and only screen appearance as Oscar.
Nice.
Yeah, but he wrote quite a number of screenplays.
Yeah. But I think you're right to like not have him Oscar show up at all.
It works so much better because then there's always that wild card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I also really like the German chauffeur,
Oh, yeah, because at one point, the chauffeur for
the rich guy.
the rich guy that the maid is marrying brings back the bag from the maid, and that which the maid had already brought it back.
Yeah, this
switching
one
it
is
out.
now. Yeah, now he's brought back the underwear again.
Yeah, he's brought it back again
In exchange for the cash.
But yeah, they play off the German Schnell soldier thing. I mean, this is post World War I, pre World War II. So
Yeah, well,
that
even
would
when
have
he
been
disarms, when Stallone disarms Connie, he's like, it's like disarming Germany. Yeah, but yeah. So then that guy,
made a note of that.
Mir something, I can't remember his name. I like how the doorman reacts to me. He's like, just sit here, Fritz. But if you played a video game that has a Nazi in it, he voiced him.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
There's another breaking the fourth wall moment in the Landis movie where the maid mentions seeing a play in France.
Ah.
I didn't.
This
catch
reminds me
that.
about a
I
play in
catch
France. And I'm like, it was a reference to Oscar.
Oh, crazy. I
The
never
play.
thought that.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen this movie a few times, but because I never knew that prior. It was just an offhanded piece of dialogue that didn't make any sense to me until I watched it this time.
Yeah, and if the maid said it, I probably just drowned it out because I was tired of her really bad Irish accent.
Yeah.
Oh, it was
Not even the bad Irish accent. I just didn't like her.
You have an elocution coach right there. Just give her a hand. Oh, I like how he picks out where Anthony is from, like what section of New Jersey.
Yeah, based
Yeah,
on
so
his...
good. What's funny, we were talking about the bad Irish accent. I was watching it. There's a BuzzFeed video online where Irish people listen to actors try to do Irish accents. Watch it. It's funny. They're like going, what? Apparently everybody's trying to mimic Sean Connery in The Untouchables. That's what they decided. Every single Irish person trying to do an Irish accent, that's who it is.
It's a Scott trying to do an Irish.
Yeah, that's what they do. He's like going, it's all terrible.
Either that or you're all trying to get to the Lucky Charms.
Yes.
That's why I appreciate Sean Connery so much. It doesn't matter what his role is, he just doesn't try. You ever seen The Hunt for Red October? Isn't he a Russian?
He's a Russian.
Commander? Just trying to play.
He's a Scottish Russian.
And he just talks. He's just like, is that your best? I don't know.
But I think it's that
Your
whole,
breath.
it's the Kevin Costner effect where if you really can't do it,
Just
don't.
don't. Just
Don't. It's
don't.
better if you don't.
Yeah. It's like in Troy when everybody's British. It's fine. Just roll with it. Don't worry about it.
Well, there's what was the name of that movie? It was about a Russian campaign in World War II. Enemy at the Gate.
Yes.
Everybody's British. Except for all the Russians are British, except for the British. I think
They're all American.
They're all
All American.
American.
I can't remember which movie it was, or if it was just a TV show, or a sketch where somebody's like going, I don't know what this. Why does everybody sing that in Germans we just speak English with a German accent and not just German?
It's true. They just do.
Nice.
But, yeah, it's true. I'm like going, yeah, but why would they speak English? They're German. They should be speaking German. Just put some subtitles on. We're doing a bit of reading, guys. Just do that.
Well, we never thought we'd actually be doing a Stallone movie on this show, but
Sure, Judge Dredd.
That's not a remake.
No, there's a remake.
It is
Sort of. I guess it wouldn't be a remake.
No, it's like the
Derivative?
Batman movies. I would not call remakes either. It's another person's interpretation. Because the two movies, there's nothing like. Because they're based on comics, so there's so much territory you can cover in those things. I don't see any similarities between Dredd and Judge Dredd.
Yeah, me neither. One's good. You want to guess which one I think is the good one?
The Stallone one.
Well, I don't know. There might have been remakes where they've been tried to make Rambo in another country. There's
There's the Russian Rambo,
There's Russian
Red
Rambo.
Scorpion with Dolph Lundgren.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
See? Yeah, there are remakes with Stallone.
So pretty much this was his funniest movie since The Party at Kitty and Studs, a.k.a. the Italian Stallion.
I have to admit, that's one I keep thinking I should watch, but then stop myself at the last
I
moment.
can lend it to you. I have it on VHS.
Oh, nice.
Why?
Why not?
You wanted to see Stallone's thing, eh?
No, it's super softcore. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Oh, he can't get it up?
No one's getting penetrated in that movie unless he has a 21-inch dick.
It's
which-
very,
It's-
it's
that's-
very Emmanuel circa
Okay, so
1983.
that's
Super is,
that's
yeah.
the 70s single X movie.
Yeah, single X.
There was a ton of single X movies.
Yeah, but it gave
The
us
ones-
Rocky, so you can't discount it for that.
The ones playing on Showtime late at night.
Lots of TNA.
Or Cinemax.
but-
The Skinemax.
The Skinemax version.
Skinemax movie.
Oh yeah, you know what? The other comedy stopped where my mom will shoot. It came out the following year, and then it was Demolition Man. So he just gave up after
Yeah.
that. He's like, no more comedy.
Well, yeah, I Stop with Mom Will Shoot had a lot of problems. One not being funny.
One,
Yeah, no,
somebody
he's-
thought it was a good idea.
Yeah.
he's literally not done another comedy since.
Yeah. When was Tango and Cash?
Tango's a
Yes.
very tongue-in-cheek
No, but
action
it's still,
movie, but it's yeah.
There was comedy. They were aiming for comedy.
Yeah, that was 89.
It was, in a way, it was meant to be a spoof of action movies that were coming
Yeah.
out at the time, but not overly so. It fits in the genre, the 90s action movie genre, pretty good. So I do like that movie, as bad as it is.
Oh, it's
I love
horrible, but you just.
But so much fun.
I'll
It's-
watch a movie if Stallone's in it. I think he's awesome.
Yeah, I do too. I do.
I'll still eat hamburgers from McDonald's. Not all the time, but I enjoy them.
Every time I turn my hat backwards and I enter into an arm wrestling competition, I just think of
you go
Lincoln
over the
Hawk.
top?
Yeah, over the top, Dad.
Well, you guys can join the conversation and tell us what your favorite comedic Stallone moment is, despite not being in a comedy. And you can just clip it, whatever, send it to us, tweet us over on Twitter. We are at Invasion Remake. We are Invasion of the Remake on Facebook, and of course, Invasion of the Remake at gmail.com. Tell your friends. Tell 5 friends, tell everybody to like us on Facebook, and of course, listen to us over on iTunes. Rate, review, subscribe. I can't iterate that enough. Please rate us. Just give us a 5-star review, whatever you're watching us on or listening to us on, and tell friends. That helps us raise in the charts. So.
And plus, we can since we did Oscar, we'll let you know that we're going to be tweeting during the Oscars.
Yeah, well, this is actually running after the Oscars, so at this point, we're telling them too late. So,
well, we told them in our Oscar show, though.
But we told you guys in the Oscar show, and we're recording this prior to the Academy Awards.
We tried.
Yes, but
we tried so hard.
At this point, you have already seen our live tweets as it degraded into whatever it did.
I apologize again for getting horrifically drunk.
Despite the fact that it hasn't happened yet.
I didn't mean all that vitriol. I just get angry when I'm on bourbon.
I can see the Academy Awards is already going to be a trial for me.
I shouldn't have said those things, guys.
I'll bring the bucket. All right. Well, that was Oscar. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jason.
I'm Jeff.
I'm Trish.
And we are out of here.
Whoa.
I am the law.
Malgré que je vais devenir baronne, j'aimerais tout de même bien que monsieur me paie mon mois. Pourquoi ce jeune homme veut-il m'appeler maman?
C'est une chose dont nous pouvons parler entre hommes. Oui. Je suis l'amant de votre fille.
Quoi? Oh non, c'est pas possible. Je n'ai pas compris. C'en est trop dans la matinée. Dis-moi, ce n'est pas vrai. Et puis c'est fabuleux. Et tout ça par ta pompe. Regardez ce qu'elle a l'air bête, ça lui lève comme ça. Clac. Clac. Et si tu continues à faire autant de bruit, je te mettrai pensionnaire dans une institution religieuse. Jusqu'à ta majorité. Et où ça? En Auvergne. Oscar.
Mon Oscar.
Qui c'est ça, Oscar?
Oscar! Comment se fait-il que vous ne soyez pas Oscar?
Pardon, c'est Oscar le responsable?
Où est-il, Oscar? Oscar!
Oh, Charlotte. Monsieur Bertrand. C'est la grande rigolade là-dedans.
Il y a des choses qu'on... Non! Enfin, essayez de comprendre! Comme ça! La valise de la bonne, j'ai demandé au baron de me la faire rapporter au baron, comme ça.
Mais quel baron?
Je vous répète que ma bonne épouse un baron, mais vous ne comprenez donc rien! Pas de... Il n'y aura rien, mais rien! Voilà, tu n'auras pas... Comme ça, rien, comme ça,
Chaque fois que je te vois, je me demande toujours si tu es dans ton état normal.
Ma valise! Mon Dieu, parce que ce soit ma valise! Allez! Ah! C'est elle! Elle est là et je ne la lâche plus! Il y a là-dedans de quoi faire votre bonheur. De quoi faire votre bonheur. Je suis zinzin.
Je suis entré à votre service il y a 2 ans, comme employé aux écritures. Vos appointements de 500 francs par mois.
Ça, c'est incroyable, ça.
Un peu de sucre, s'il vous plaît. Merci. 2.